The Doodler, also known as the Black Doodler, is an unidentified serial killer believed responsible for 14 slayings and 3 assaults of men in the gay community of San Francisco, California, between January 1974 and September 1975. The nickname was given due to the perpetrator's habit of sketching his victims prior to their sexual encounters and murders by stabbing. The perpetrator met his victims at gay nightclubs, bars and restaurants. Murders. It is believed that the Doodler killed up to 14 people. A consistent method used in several of the killings was stabbing the victims in the front and back of their bodies. Police theorized that the victims had all died after meeting with the suspect near the locations where their bodies were recovered. Gerald Cavanaugh. Gerald Earl Cavanaugh, a Canadian-American immigrant, is believed to be the Doodler's first victim. He was 49 at the time of his murder, which had occurred by stabbing. Cavanaugh's fully clothed body was located on January 24, 1974, lying face-up on Ocean Beach in San Francisco, California. In the early hours of the morning, he had died hours before. He was determined to have been conscious at the time he was killed and had attempted to resist his killer, as he had self-defense wounds noted. Joseph J. Stevens. Joseph Stevens, best known by the nickname J, was discovered by a woman walking along Spreckles Lake, located in San Francisco on June 25, 1974. Stevens was 27 and had died recently before his body was found, as he had been witnessed at a club the day prior. He was employed as a female impersonator and comedian. Officers suspected that Stevens was alive at the time he had been at Spreckles Lake, possibly transporting himself to the area alongside his killer. Klaus Crispin. Klaus Crispin, a German-American immigrant, was discovered by a woman walking her dog on July 7, 1974. His death had been somewhat more violent than the previous murders, as he had considerably more stab wounds than Stevens and had also been slashed in the throat several times. The body was fully clothed. He remained unidentified briefly while police were investigating the cases, which they had believed were related after the third murder. He was eventually buried in his native country. Frederick Kappen. Frederick Elmer Kappen, aged 32, was discovered on May 12, 1975, in San Francisco. He had been stabbed, like the other victims, dying from strikes to his aorta. It is believed his body had been moved approximately 20 feet, as disturbances in the nearby sand indicated. Kappen was identified through fingerprints when they were matched to those taken by the state, due to his occupation as a nurse. He had also served in the United States Navy, earning medals while serving in the Vietnam War. Harold Goldberg. Harold Goldberg, aged 66, was a Swedish-American immigrant who was discovered on June 4, 1975, in a decomposed state, about 2 weeks after his death, in Lincoln Park. Investigation. Police questioned the young man as a murder suspect in the case but could not proceed with criminal charges because the 3 surviving victims did not want to out themselves by testifying against him in court. 2 other potential suspects arose in 1977 after a pair of men from Redondo Beach, Riverside, California were questioned after their arrests under suspicion of murders with similar circumstances, approximately 28 that occurred after homosexual encounters. Quote, Aftermath. At the time, activist Harvey Milk publicly expressed empathy for the victims who refused to speak with police, stating, "I understand their position. I respect the pressure society has put on them." Milk elaborated that the 3 men likely feared damaging relationships with family and also in the workforce, citing that he believed only 20 to 25% of the 85,000 gay men in San Francisco were open about their sexualities.